At 27, Daniel looked like a man who was alive, but not really living. His face was always tired, his smile always forced, and his mind never silent. He was not lazy, he was not weak, he was not careless. He was just tired from thinking too much. Every morning, before his feet even touched the floor, his mind had already started running. What if I fail? What if I choose the wrong path? What if I waste my life? What if people move ahead and I stay behind? And every night, when the world became quiet, his thoughts became louder. He remembered every mistake, every wrong decision, every chance he missed, every person who left, every word he wished he had never said. He would close his eyes, but his mind would open every old wound again. Daniel was not fighting people. He was not fighting the world. He was fighting himself. His friends used to say, "Bro, relax, you think too much." But Daniel could never explain it. How do you explain a noise that no one else can hear? How do you explain a battle that is happening inside your own head? He would sit with people, but mentally he was somewhere else. He would eat food, but taste nothing. He would look at the sky, but only think about problems. Slowly, life stopped feeling like life. It started feeling like pressure. One evening, after a long, stressful day, Daniel left his apartment and started walking. He didn't know where he was going. He just wanted to get away from the noise, from the phone, from people, from expectations, from himself. He walked through the busy streets of London. Cars were passing. People were rushing. Everyone looked like they had somewhere to go. But Daniel felt stuck. After some time, he reached a quiet park near the river. The city lights reflected on the water. The wind was cold. The benches were almost empty. And on one bench, an old man was sitting alone. He was feeding birds with small pieces of bread. There was something strange about him. He was not rich. He was not famous. He was not powerful. But he looked peaceful. Completely peaceful. As if the world was moving fast. But he was not disturbed by it. Daniel slowed down. The old man looked at him and smiled. "You look like you were carrying something heavy," the old man said. Daniel gave a weak laugh. "I'm not carrying anything." The old man looked at his face and said softly, "Not in your hands, in your mind." Daniel became silent. The old man moved slightly and said, "Sit down." Daniel didn't know why, but he sat beside him. For a few moments, neither of them said anything. Only the sound of the river could be heard. And for the first time that day, Daniel felt a little calm. After a while, the old man asked, "What is making your mind so loud?" Daniel looked down. At first he tried to smile and say, "Nothing." But then his voice broke. He started talking. He talked about his fear of failure, his regret about the past, his confusion about the future, his pressure to become successful, his fear of disappointing his family, his fear that he was running out of time. He spoke for a long time. The old man did not interrupt. He did not give advice. He did not judge. He just listened. And sometimes being truly listened to feels like medicine. When Daniel finally stopped, the old man looked at the river and asked, "Tell me something. Out of all these problems, how many can you solve tonight?" Daniel thought for a moment. Then he whispered, "Maybe one or two." The old man nodded. "And the rest?" Daniel said, "I don't know." The old man looked at him and said, "Then why are you trying to solve your entire life tonight?" Daniel stayed silent. That question entered his heart. The old man continued, "Your mind is tired because you are living too many days at once." Daniel looked confused. The old man smiled and pointed toward the river. "Come, let me show you something." They both walked closer to the river. The water was flowing slowly, calmly, naturally. The old man picked up a small paper cup lying near the grass. He placed it on the water. The cup started floating. Slowly, it moved with the current. The old man said, "Look at this cup. It does not know where the river will take it, but still it moves." Daniel watched quietly. Then the old man picked up a small stick and tried to stop the water with it. Of course, the water kept flowing. He looked at Daniel and asked, "What happens if I keep trying to stop this river?" Daniel said, "You'll get tired." The old man smiled. "Exactly." Then he said, "This is what you are doing with life. You are trying to stop the river." Daniel looked at him. The old man continued, "You want to control the past, but it has already passed. You want to control the future, but it has not arrived. You want to control people, but they have their own minds. You want to control outcomes, but life has its own timing." Daniel took a deep breath. The old man's voice became softer. "Listen carefully, Daniel. Control what is in your hands. Release what is not. Because peace does not come when life becomes perfect. Peace comes when you stop fighting what you cannot control." Daniel felt something move inside him. Not happiness, not excitement, but relief, as if someone had finally explained the weight he had been carrying for years. Daniel asked, "But how do I know what to control and what to let go?" The old man smiled. "That is easy." He raised one finger and said, "Ask yourself one question." Daniel listened carefully. The old man said, "Is there something I can do about this right now?" Daniel repeated slowly, "Is there something I can do about this right now?" The old man nodded. "If the answer is yes, then stop worrying and take one small action. If the answer is no, then stop punishing yourself for something you cannot change." Daniel looked at the river again. The old man continued, "Most people do the opposite. When they can do something, they waste time worrying. And when they cannot do anything, they still keep worrying. So they lose both action and peace." Daniel felt those words deeply. He remembered all the nights he wasted thinking about things he could not change. Old conversations, past mistakes, future fears, other people's opinions. He had been carrying invisible stones for years. The old man pointed toward Daniel's backpack. "Give me your bag." Daniel was confused, but he handed it to him. The old man placed a few stones inside it. Then he gave it back. "Carry it." Daniel wore the backpack. "It's okay," he said. The old man added more stones. "How about now?" "A little heavy." The old man added more. Daniel's shoulders dropped. "Now it's too heavy." The old man looked at him and said, "These stones are like your worries. One worry is not too heavy. One regret is not too heavy. One fear is not too heavy. But when you collect every mistake, every fear, every possible future problem, and carry them all together, even a young man becomes tired like an old soul." Daniel slowly removed the backpack. The old man said, "You don't need to carry everything to prove that you care." Daniel looked at him. The old man continued, "Sometimes letting go is not weakness. Sometimes letting go is wisdom." Daniel's eyes became wet, because deep down, he knew this was true. He had confused overthinking with responsibility. He thought if he worried enough, he could protect himself from pain. But worrying had not protected him. It had only stolen his present. After a moment, Daniel asked, "What about my past? I made mistakes I can't forget." The old man sat back on the bench. Then he said, "Your past is a classroom, not a prison." Daniel looked at him carefully. The old man continued, "A wise person visits the past to learn. A suffering person lives there forever." Daniel swallowed. The old man said, "If you made a mistake, take the lesson. But do not keep paying for the same mistake every single day of your life." Daniel looked down. He remembered the exam he failed, the relationship he lost, the opportunity he missed, the decisions he regretted. For years, he had used those memories as proof that he was not enough. But maybe they were not proof. Maybe they were lessons. The old man said, "You cannot become free while holding the same chain and calling it memory." Daniel closed his eyes. For the first time, he did not hate his past. He simply saw it. And somehow that made it lighter. Then Daniel asked, "And the future?" The old man smiled and looked at the sky. "The future is like the horizon." Daniel looked ahead. The sky was turning orange. The sun was slowly going down. The old man said, "You can walk toward it, but you cannot hold it in your hands." Daniel stayed silent. The old man continued, "You can prepare for tomorrow. You can work hard. You can make better choices. But you cannot control every result. And if you spend today fearing tomorrow, you will lose today before tomorrow even comes." Daniel felt a strange peace inside him. The old man asked, "When you drink water, do you worry about every glass of water you will drink for the rest of your life?" Daniel smiled a little. "No." "When you climb stairs, do you jump from the first step to the last step?" "No." "Then why are you trying to live your whole life in your mind today?"